Good morning. Good morning, campers. We're at about day 12 of isolation and quarantine. Just having my special jar of coffee first thing in the morning. Well, it's not first thing. I've been up for a while. But I've taken to sitting here in the window, getting some sunshine, some vitamin D, watching the flowers bloom. When it's warm out, I open the window. When it's cold out, I shut the window. It's nice. Anyway, this is my first check-in with everybody. Hello, my greater community, my friends, my colleagues, co-workers, networkers, everybody, campers, festers, partiers, dancers, healers, joy makers, comedians. Hello. First of all, I hope everyone is doing okay. Obviously, some of you are not. Most of us are going through some interesting things right now. Wondering where our next meal might be coming from when the food runs out. But there's no need to worry. I want to connect with everybody and share whatever I can from my experiences and the knowledge I've gained over the years. I'm not an expert at mostly anything, but I'm sure there's some nugget, some golden nugget of info or some phrase or insight that might possibly come through me and help somebody. So here we go. So here I'm just chilling. So the reason why it's taking me so long to check in, 12 days. Well, what the hell have I been doing, right? Just sitting here by myself with my cats. But what I've been doing has a lot to do with my process. I have a lot of little processes that I do. I grew up alone. I didn't have any siblings, and my parents both worked. So I spent many hours, many days alone. Mostly me and the animals. I had cats, dogs, iguanas, guinea pigs, fish, turtles. I had birds, because I had a whole outdoor bird feeder area, and squirrels, and let's just say there was a lot of wildlife in my childhood. So I was going to do Facebook Live, but I don't have the Facebook app on my phone, and my other technology is a little bit in disrepair right now, so I don't want to get the app. I just use the web browser, so not all the features are on there, and I miss some things sometimes on Facebook. So hopefully everyone realizes that we're all just busy and not always as technologically savvy to be able to keep everything working at 100% all the time, keeping up with everybody all the time. So speaking of that, so we're talking about basically in this quarantine, we've all been grounded. We're all pretty much stuck at home, isolated, quarantined. Some of us are out on the front lines. We got nurses, we got delivery drivers, caretakers. There's a lot of people out there keeping the world running, keeping the basic needs going. And I mean, thank you from the bottom of my heart and everybody else's for everything that you're doing. We appreciate that. For those of us who are at home and doing our patriotic duty of staying indoors and keeping away from each other so we don't get the cooties, I just want to say that there is a way to frame this situation that may help ease any mental anguish going on. So there's a couple things. It's going to be a little bit difficult for me to communicate what I want to everybody in a way that's going to come through for everyone. It's just that I'm taking a lifetime of spiritual understanding and trying to distill it down into a couple minutes here. So I don't know if anyone's even gonna watch this, but that's all right. I want to talk about my spiritual journey. So I grew up in the church, Presbyterian. I was raised Presbyterian. My family lived by Christian values most of the time. A little bit difficult to be Christ-like. And I do have some remaining issues with organized religion. When I was coming of age, I had learned enough history and world events, current events, old events, telling me about organized religion's place in the world. And so I rejected the church. I rejected Christianity, and I went a little bit atheist for a while I was, I was a child. I was mulling things over in my mind. I was taking everything in that I had learned my whole life, and I was sorting it through and figuring out, well, what's really resonating with me? Now I know that word. So I was cherry picking what's resonating for me. So I actually went around and I talked to a rabbi, and I talked to a priest, which was Catholic. I'm Presbyterian, so it's a little bit different. So I talked to different leaders in the community of different spiritualities, and that was sort of the beginning of my journey of seeking spiritual truth. And as the great philosophers would say, like Socrates would say, what is all that we're seeking this knowledge for? What is the main question? And the main question is, how do we live this life? How to live life? How do we live life well? These are the questions at the basis of most philosophical searches. So anyway, how do we live life well? How are we meant to be, and what is truth? So I know that there are billions of people on this planet, and obviously my spiritual journey is not unique. We are all on a spiritual journey. Some may say, and I do believe, that we are spirits having a human experience, not humans having a spiritual experience. So I'm not trying to come off as like, oh, I know this, and I lofty, I'm just attempting to relate my life experiences to anyone that it might help. Anyway, so along this spiritual journey, many years along, I've met many leaders in the spiritual communities. And there was a time I hung out with some shamanic healers, and these wonderful people. One person in particular, Josh, who has changed his name to something I cannot pronounce, but he's this beautiful shaman, and he traveled the world since he was a teenager, learning from different communities. He really immersed himself in the shamanic healing world, and he followed different traditions, trying to figure out what worked best for him. And through him and different shaman channels, they created this space down in Peru, and they called it the Cultural Detox Center. And I thought that title says it all. And the main thing with that is that people will go down to Peru, and they would go down for about a month. You would take time off work, and you go down for a month, and you do a cultural detox, detoxing from this society, which is so insane, the pace of life and everything that's going on here. It's almost as if, and I've lived in many places, so I know this to be true from my experience, the energy of living in the Northeast of the United States of America. We're talking about Philly, New York, New Jersey, like this sort of concentrated metropolis area. The feeling is that of like a rabid dog right on the back of your neck, chasing you down every day. It's just like this pressure. Like, you got to get up. I got to get to work. I got to do this. I got to do my self-care. Got to get to the gym. Got to look good on the dating app. Got to do this. I mean, it's just like, you know, the rat race here in Philly is serious. And I've lived in other places, small towns, in different parts of the country. And the pace of life in small towns is like so relaxed, and everything still works. Everything still flows. Society still keeps going, but it's very chill. Not here in Philly. However, here now we've been grounded. So, you know, this is a time, and we can frame it as a time to really do a cultural detox on a mass level. I mean, we're talking massive. All these people sitting at home and relaxing and actually catching up on their rest, internal rest, biorhythms, circadian rhythms coming back into sync with the universal energy. Now, hopefully all this 5G stuff is just BS and conspiracy theories, and that's not affecting us too badly, because I would like to see this as an opportunity. Obviously, many people are suffering, and anyone who attempts to gain profit off of innocent suffering sucks, but that's not what this is. This is taking an unfortunate situation and finding the silver lining, right? What's the silver lining here is that we all have this chance to do this cultural detox in our homes. So cultural detox consists of 1 month in the jungle, isolated from the industrial pumping machine of society and competition and image and all that stuff. So what happens, as my friends would tell me, now I didn't go on this detox. I don't have the privilege of taking that much time off and spending that much money. But with this detox, what they'd say would happen is people would come down from America, and the first 2 weeks, they would basically spend the first 2 weeks catching up on sleep. That's how long it took, 2 full weeks before people would be caught up on sleep. They would just be so exhausted on a soul level that they get there, and breakfast, they get up early. Everything has like a schedule. So you get up early and you know, have your breakfast with the community around the fire, and then you can do what you want the first 2 weeks. And, you know, there's different things you can do, like mud baths or treatments or whatever, or you could just go to the hammocks and take a nap. So what most people would do, because they'd be so exhausted from trying to keep up with society, is they would get up in the morning, have breakfast, then go to the hammock and take a nap, then get woken up and have lunch, and then go to the hammock and take a nap, and then wake up and have dinner, and then go to bed. And 2 weeks of just resting and resting and resting until the batteries deep down inside in the cellular level have recharged. And then when you've had that detox and your energy is back and your biorhythms and your circadian rhythms are in sync with the planet, your aura, your electrical field, your energy field is clear of static energy. You've been breathing in this fresh air from the trees right there all around you, all the plants, fresh plants and whatnot. Then you build from there. Then you can do different things, diving into, you know, mental stuff or deep spiritual meditation, meditative walks, different body treatments, or whatever, music, singing, dancing. And the point is, once you've made that detox, then from there, from that clear space where there's been a stoppage of all negative momentum, now you've taken that momentum and you've stopped it. So, energetically, you then have a platform from which you can then build and grow. So that, let's see. So yeah, so you're clear and calm. You meditate, you've made space in your mind, in your body, in your energy field. And within that space, your container of yourself is clear and more empty to be filled with divine light, divine healing, divine inspiration. So that negative momentum has stopped, and now you can start building positive momentum. You can then build health, vitality, and create joy and start developing a more sustainable life. So what does